Now at 9, One Hoosier Company is trying to help improve COVID-19 treatments and what they're asking the federal government to do.
And one local restaurant nearly closed its doors due to the pandemic, how they recovered.
Temperature fluctuations are going to be coming ahead. Just how warm or cool will it get? I'll have all the details coming up in my full forecast.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
An Indiana-based company is asking for the government to allow the emergency use of a new antibody therapy. Good evening, I'm Angelica Gonzalez.
And I'm Tara Konechny. NewsLink Indiana's Tyler Brummett is here tonight in the studio with the breakdown. Tyler, what does this mean?
Well, Angelica and Tara, Eli Lilly and company say this could be progress, but it's not necessarily a slam dunk. The company sent out a news release today showing results from a study. Data so far shows the drug reduced symptoms, hospitalizations, as well as ER visits. These results are really early though, and that's really the caution in all of this, as the study is actually still happening right now. The company says 112 people received the antibodies and 156 got a placebo. About 5.8% of the patients given the placebo required hospitalization or an ER visit compared to the 0.9% of those who were given those antibodies. The study also says the amount of the virus in patients was significantly lower 11 days after they got that treatment. Symptoms also improved in the days after that treatment, 3 days matter of fact, and Lilly says this drug is similar to the one President Trump received last week from Regeneron Pharmaceuticals following his positive COVID-19 test. These treatments, though, have been given through an IV, and patients receive specific antibodies to help the immune system clear out the virus. The treatment President Trump received has not yet been approved by the FDA. Lilly says the results of its study really still needs to be reviewed by independent scientists. So of course, they are reiterating tonight that this isn't a slam dunk, but they are cautious and optimistic.
All right, Tyler, thank you. Now we take a look at the local COVID numbers. Yesterday, no new COVID-19 tests were conducted through the partnership with IU Health. There is one new positive student case and one new positive employee case reported to Ball State from another testing sources. That brings the number of total cases active on campus to 28. Ball State has had 1,027 positive cases overall. ISDH is reporting 1,300 new cases and 17 new deaths.
Though it's a Muncie staple, Merck's Family Dining is no exception to getting hit by the pandemic. NewsLink Indiana's Annie Keister tells us this location's journey through COVID-19.
Well, we were all worried, if we were going to stay open or not.
Most know Merck's as the restaurant with airplanes. Some know the Merkel family. But what some might not know is that amidst the pandemic, Merck's was in trouble.
So it's hard when everybody's at home and don't have the customers, flowing through.
Merck's was hit hard during March and April, prepared for each week to be their last. Even a quick Facebook search still says the restaurant is permanently closed.
Well, we didn't have inside service for several months, so the girls would run the food outside.
Something especially hard for a place like Merck's.
Open the car door, put it in the back seat. I mean, there was no touching, no talking, no anything,
A restaurant with above average customers.
They're very loyal. Some of them eat here 2-3 times a day.
The girls, people come in, they know everybody by name.
And when somebody comes in day after day for the last 6 years, you kind of know what they eat.
But thanks to those customers and receiving the PPP loan back in May, the restaurant is in fact open for business and at around 60% normal activity, feeding their supporters and hoping that someday they can be back to their regular visits.
I miss the ones that haven't been back. When one of them do come back, it's like, oh, I'm so glad you're all right,
You just go with the flow, After this crisis, there'll be another one, That's about how I feel about it.
Just keep coming back in, knowing that, we're doing everything we can to keep everybody safe and healthy.
In Muncie, Annie Keister, NewsLink, Indiana.
And while some businesses are struggling with finances, some people are as well. But if you were expecting another stimulus check, you'll have to wait until after the election. President Trump tweeted that he halted stimulus negotiations with the Democratic-led House of Representatives, but later he seemed to backtrack, saying he would support certain isolated measures. However, aides on Capitol Hill say bipartisan negotiations are done for the moment, but the bottom line is federal stimulus money isn't coming anytime soon.
People across the Gulf Coast are keeping an eye on another storm. This time, it's named Hurricane Delta. Here is some of the damage that has already happened in Mexico, and now some of the states are bracing for impact. Delta is set to enter the Gulf of Mexico Wednesday and expected to be a major hurricane by the time it approaches Louisiana on Friday. There are a number of watches and warnings stretching from Texas to Louisiana, Mississippi, and the Alabama-Florida border. People in these states are prepping for everything from heavy rain and strong winds to power outages. Now, Chris, with this Hurricane Delta coming, are there any rain in the forecast in the next week?
Well, we may have just a slight chance of some showers just later in the week, but we're going to be staying relatively dry for most of the day tonight. So we're going to be basically staying clear and free of clouds for most of the night. Now, moving into our current temperatures, cold front starts moving into tonight. Temperatures start dropping down. 68 in Indianapolis, 63 in Bloomington, and 62 here in Muncie. Now, as that cold front starts progressing its way into the area, temperatures will get into the lower 50s by 1 a.m. I'll have all the details on how cool and how warm these temperatures will get later in the show.
Thank you, Chris. Currently, all eyes are on Salt Lake City, where Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris are face-to-face in the first and only 2020 vice presidential debate. It is a key moment in this campaign as President Donald Trump continues to recover from the coronavirus. The debate has several new precautions in order to ensure the candidates' safety, including plexiglass safety barriers and the candidates being 12 feet apart. Americans are looking for answers on how the country will bounce back from the pandemic.
The former Minneapolis police officer seen kneeling on George Floyd's neck before he died has posted his $1 million bail. Hennepin County reports Chauvin was released just after 11 this morning. Derek Chauvin is charged with second and third degree murder in the death of Floyd. 3 other former officers are charged with aiding and abetting second degree murder. All those men have asked for their charges against them to be dismissed. One radio host reflects on the career of Eddie Van Halen. Ahead, the memories he made while listening to the rock band.
And one NFL team is turning to technology to sanitize their stadium. What you can expect to see flying over the seats after the break.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, Mitts will take you there.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. The world of rock and roll is mourning the loss of a music legend, Eddie Van Halen. NewsLink Indiana's Alex Almanza caught up with the local radio host who reflects on his life and legacy.
I said, wow, what is this? I've never heard this kind of guitar before. I was blown away when I heard Eruption.
The death of music legend Eddie Van Halen shook the world Monday night, including Brian Casey, who's a radio host for Muncie's 93.5 FM classic rock station.
When I was 14 years old, I went back and bought the first LP, the album, the vinyl of Van Halen's debut, put it on the turntable.
Halen died at the age of 65 due to a decade-long battle with throat cancer. The announcement was made via a tweet from his son reading a part, "My heart is broken, and I don't think I'll ever fully recover from this loss." Casey was more than just a longtime listener who recalls fighting the cold weather to see his favorite guitarist.
I camped out in 1984 at Market Square Arena. It was in March, and it was very cold that day. I stayed up all night, so I'd be one of the first in line to get a good seat, because when they open the doors, you just rush in. And I had third row seats. It was a great show.
In the span of 4 decades, Van Halen released over a dozen albums. Their 1978 self-titled debut sold over 10 million copies and was certified diamond. Its second track, Eruption, featured an Eddie Van Halen guitar solo that forever redefined his career.
We'll definitely miss his talents.
In Muncie, Alex Almanza, NewsLink, Indiana.
And speaking of legendary rock bands, Guns N' Roses lead guitarist Slash has co-designed the new Guns N' Roses Not in This Lifetime immersive pinball machine featuring tour performances on high-def display. This machine comes complete with stereo and sound and music and effects crafted by Slash especially for the game. Check it out at jerseyjackpinball.com. The sports world is turning to technology in the age of COVID. They are hoping to better sanitize stadiums and get fans back in the stands. Mandy Gather has more in today's Consumer Watch.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a disinfecting drone. Just when you think you've seen it all, think again. Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium is deploying drones as the stadium welcomes fans back for the Falcons' home game against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. The technology will be used after the game to disinfect the stands, handrails, and glass partitions at the stadium. Officials say the drones will allow for a 95% reduction in time spent cleaning the seating bowl, allowing employees to work on other areas of the stadium. In addition to the drones, the stadium added a sanitation team for hourly disinfecting, 600 hand sanitizer dispensers, and monthly antiviral coating to help reduce the risk of exposure and spread of the virus. But wait, there's more. At the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, they're cleaning with robots. Typically used in hospital rooms, officials say it emits bursts of UV light that damages virus DNA. The bursts look like flashes in this video, but that's the robot at work. It's being used to sanitize football areas and other places throughout the stadium. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Multiple NFL games have been postponed since the season started in September due to players, coaches, and staff testing positive for the coronavirus. And speaking of fall activities, you can expect this year's Thanksgiving centerpiece to be a bit smaller. During the pandemic, fewer people will likely be around Thanksgiving tables, and that means many households are looking to buy smaller turkeys. In response, grocery stores, distributors, and farmers are rethinking their own long-standing Thanksgiving traditions. Walmart, the largest grocer in the U.S., is increasing its availability of boneless and bone-in turkey breasts. A commodity research firm says retailers and distributors will be buying more hens, which are smaller than toms or male birds. And while the birds may be smaller, experts still think about 40 million turkeys will be eaten around the holiday. Now, Thanksgiving is a little bit ways away, but today was perfect weather, and I'm looking forward to going to pumpkin patches, apple orchards, all that stuff to get some apple cider donuts, some apple cider. What about you?
I for sure am in the same boat. I know this Sunday my friends or I are thinking about going to a pumpkin patch. We've been talking about carving pumpkins. I'm not really good at carving, but I think I'm kind of aiming towards more painting my pumpkin because I could really do that. And so...
Okay, that sounds great. Chris, do you have some nice weather coming up this weekend?
Well, we will definitely have some nice weather, pretty dry conditions, but clouds will start impacting our area, making it feel very eerie. I'll have all those details coming up right after the break.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars. Really tall. I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands? Yes. You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
One in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother,
Yes.
you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Now looking out right now at 9:17 and campus seems pretty quiet and pretty dark, but it wasn't like that earlier this morning with a very nice weather. So what did you think about the weather today?
You know what? I'm still holding on to the 80-degree summer weather. Chris, is this going to continue for over the weekend?
Well, temperatures are definitely going to be fluctuating throughout most of the week. We are going to start seeing some cooler temperatures, but for today, we've definitely been able to get out the shorts and t-shirts as we reached a high of 82 degrees. Average high only at 67, so we are definitely above average, but definitely did not reach that 90-degree record high set in 2007. So for most of the day today and even throughout the night, we're going to stay relatively dry. As a cold front from the north starts progressing its way into our area, our temperatures will slowly start to drop back down into those 60s and even 50s. Right now, we're currently sitting at 62 in Muncie, 68 in Indianapolis, and 63 degrees in Bloomington. So throughout the south, we are actually going to be tracking Hurricane Delta. Delta is currently a Category 1 hurricane, 90 miles per hour, currently in the southern Gulf of Mexico near the Yucatan Peninsula, and it's going to be tracking its way northward all the way up until it reaches around Friday, 1 p.m., where it's expected to impact the area at a Category 2 hurricane. This isn't the first time Louisiana has been impacted by a hurricane or tropical storm. Throughout the hurricane season of 2020, 6 times it has been impacted. Now for us tonight, we don't have to worry about the hurricane. We get to worry about the clear conditions and cooler temperatures dropping all the way down to 51 degrees by 1 a.m. Tomorrow we rise back up, staying relatively cool all the way up to 72 degrees by 5 p.m., getting a nice cool start to your day tomorrow morning. Now, what we're going to be expecting throughout if we can get the clicker to work, Saturday, we're going to be expecting temperatures to be hovering around those mid-70s, bringing partly sunny conditions. But then by Sunday, we're going to have more clouds increase the area, temperatures hovering around those lower 70s. Fall leaves are going to be expecting around this time of the year. Mid-October is going to be our time where we're going to start seeing those leaves start changing its color and the temperatures. And when we get cool these temperatures, well, the Climate Prediction Center is going to still keep us above average temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. And speaking of these temperatures, we're going to be seeing a big, huge fluctuation as we look into the mid-7-day forecast. Tomorrow, we cool off down to the lower 70s, but then slowly rise back up into the lower 80s and start going up and down with these temperatures and eventually start getting back down to the cooler lower 70s by next week. So pumpkin patch, hay rides, hey, it's going to be a great weekend, but it's going to feel very eerie with the clouds starting to move in.
Oh, can't wait.
We can't wait, but thank you, Chris. We really appreciate it. Tonight in sports, the MAC is back, and we'll take a look at Ball State's football schedule.
And basketball season is right around the corner. We'll take a look into some high school basketball after the break. Stay with us.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds. We surround a community's most critical problems. And we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. And I think of kids going to school hungry. Hunger, homelessness. In this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Weeknights, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed.
But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal weather. We've got the latest news headlines.
Freezing temperatures have set in all the way down in Louisiana.
One man dead after flooding in Venice, Italy.
Up-to-the-minute weather conditions.
Cold temperatures are the story this morning.
And of course, lots of fun.
It is not funny.
What on earth is happening there?
I feel sorry for the little guy.
I've got my socks on. Annie with her curly hair, which is actually never curly. Join us Friday mornings at 8 on Facebook Live.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Blake Dahlier with sports. The MAC is back, and the moment Ball State football fans have been waiting for has finally arrived. The official schedule being released today by the Mid-American Conference. And if you like rivalries, this one is for you. The Redbird rivalry kicking off day 1 in Oxford. There are 5 games against MAC West Division opponents, this including the battle for the Bronze Stalk on November 18th against NIU. And as for Coach Mike New, he believes his team can get the job done.
Our guys can't wait, man. We got one goal in mind here, but we got to make sure we make every day count when we have a chance to go to work on the practice field, make improvements in the meeting room, and our guys are anxiously awaiting that first game.
State finished 4-4 last year in interconference play. And now switching gears from the MAC to high school basketball, the season is right around the corner and teams are just as excited as fans for tip-off. Even though COVID-19 is throwing some curveballs, Muncie Central getting ready to give this season a go. The Bearcats losing a tough one last year in the sectional final to New Palestine by just 1 point. The team looking to rebound from that this year, and that moment fueling the fire for the Bearcats as their anticipation growing with the season quickly approaching. Coach Chandler Thompson saying he's all in for the hype, hoping it brings his team a boost of energy.
That's what we hoping that, they are so hyped that they carry over what we are putting into practice, that it'll go into the next day and the next day into the next day until the season starts, to the first game, to the second game, and so on and so on.
Muncie Central isn't the only local team gearing up for their season. The Blackford girls team is getting back to work themselves. The Bruins finishing 10-13 last year under head coach Mitch Waters. With a lot of players coming back, Blackford's looking to get that record up over 500. And while doing so, they're eyeing to put themselves back on the map and contend for a CIC championship. Waters saying the key? Keeping the team chemistry strong throughout the lengthy season.
And we try to do as many things as we can together. And the season's a long season. We've added up, I think, 5 or 6 months, not counting the off season. So it's just a long, drug out season. And you're with the players probably more than with your families, vice versa.
The Bruins' first game this year will be the Muncie Central scrimmage October 28th. And now switching gears from high school basketball to Friday Night Lights, going from the basketball court to the gridiron. We've got some big matchups this week for some local high school teams. Kicking things off with our 7 o'clock slate, the Blackford Bruins sitting at an even 3-3 on the season, traveling out to Mississinawa. Up next will be Westdale taking on Purdue Poly on the road. Muncie Central making the journey all the way out to Lafayette, taking on McCutcheon. And then Eastbrook sitting at 7-1. They're hosting Elwood. Now switching gears to our 7:30 slate. Yorktown hitting the road. They're facing Pendleton Heights. And then it'll be Delta, led by quarterback Brady Hunt, taking on Greenfield Central at home. And finally, Newcastle hosting New Palestine, who is sitting at an impressive 5-1. Be sure to follow our Twitter page at NLI Sports. We'll have live scoring updates and much more as the games progress. Now, with the MAC coming back, it's the news we've all been waiting for. I've got to ask you guys, do you want to have maybe a pregame party or something like that? We could watch the game?
Oh, absolutely.
That's something we're going to have to look forward to.
We'll get the wings ready.
After the break, the one social media platform is allowing users to change their app icon and how you can unlock that ability.
And we take one final look at the weather next.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Instagram is turning 10 and celebrating by letting users temporarily change the app icon. To access them, you will have to figure out a cryptic tweet Instagram sent out. The tech giant wrote in his blog post on its website, "Birthdays are a good time to reflect on where we've been and where we're headed." Now, this Instagram-worthy weather today, Chris, will that continue?
Temperatures will still get cooler and then warmer, but eventually we'll be staying around the sunny skies to partly sunny to cloudy skies by the weekend.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.